There we go. Now it's running. Hello. Um, this video, first of all, it's being filmed on my tablet, so I'm experimenting with this out. Secondly, this video is going to be about a significant series of changes in my life. I'm going to go through some of them fast and one I'm going to elaborate on. My brother has been moved into a group home, which in a sense is good because he needs to be with people who are specialists in caring for someone with his disorders. My father and one of my aunts are not in the best of health. My aunt, the one that I'm talking about right now, has end stage COPD, and I'm not going to go into what my father may or may not have because he wouldn't appreciate me divulging information about him online. Suffice it to say, his symptoms are not very good. So I'm dealing with taking care of them, which takes up a lot of my time, taking care of myself, which takes up a lot more of my time, and doing whatever I need to do to follow this new path I'm on. And that leads me to my next point. In the past, I have made videos that attempted to explain my position on NLP and Christianity, being a minister, a chaplain, and an NLP master practitioner. I realized they came across kind of, we'll say, clunky, and may not have conveyed my messages very well, especially with the direction I'm taking now. As I've already stated before in the past, I am a chaplain, and I take that work very seriously. I'm an online chaplain, and I like to think that the Lord has used me to make a difference in other people's lives. I've recently started to evaluate how I want to use NLP in my daily life. And I think I've come up with a solution. By the way, if you're wondering, that's the cross on my wall up there. But I think I've come up with a solution for using NLP in my life. Throughout my studies, I have learned that there is a dark or unethical use of NLP that a lot of people get into. And it leaves a lot of people in a vulnerable and hurting state. I got into NLP because I wanted to help other people to heal, and I wanted to help myself to heal. I originally wanted to be a psychologist, but things just didn't work out that way. And then I found the power of NLP, and it's really made a lot of changes in my life for the better. Now you might say, well, you're still packing on a lot of weight, but I am losing weight gradually, and I'm talking about mainly my mental health. As you might know or might not know, I have schizophrenia, and along with that diagnosis goes a lot of different types of symptoms. I don't interact very much with people in public. I am suspicious of people I don't know. I don't have much drive to do things, even things that need to be done. I, when I'm not on my medicine, I do hear voices, and sometimes I see things that aren't there. I've also had some pretty severe delusions in the past, like one that's known as Cotard's delusion. I'll let you look that up for yourselves rather than go into it here. And sometimes my body just doesn't want to move. I will stand there almost completely frozen, and I'll be willing myself, forcing myself to move. That doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. And there are also times when I get overwhelmed or confused and I shut down mentally. There are times when I can't find the words for what I want to say, and it's something that's really simple, something really easy that I should know very well, and yet the word just escapes me for a long period of time until someone else brings it up. And along with these things come other problems like self esteem, um, relying on others for my sense of self, my self concept, and so many other things. A lot of those peripheral issues, NLP has helped me immensely with, and for that I'm grateful. I'm grateful to the people who have taught me about NLP. I'm grateful for the people I've studied with. And I'm grateful to Doctors Bandler and Grinder and Frank Pucelik for bringing it all together, as well as all of the other people in the field who have contributed to bringing it all together. There are too many to name in one video and keep it short enough to be watchable. Anyway, in the past, I've made videos about the intersection between NLP and Christianity. And I realize now that they may have come across wrong. I don't want to make it seem like I'm going to use NLP to manipulate people. That's the furthest thing from my intention, especially with the direction I want to go in. And I realize that on my website, on my coaching website, on the blog post that I put up, I may set off some red flags for people who have been affected by dark NLP or unethical, or you might even say unecological NLP, to use the jargon that they have, that we have. I want to make clear that while I have taken in the training, I'm not very polished. I'm not very smooth. But that doesn't mean I don't know my stuff. And I know it well enough to help people who may not understand how they've been hurt, to find out how they've been hurt. how it works, the mechanics of it, and to help them discover ways to heal from that hurt. My brand of coaching is solely focused on helping people who have been exposed to what some have called dark NLP. Well, not solely, but that's one of the main things. Just like um, another facet of my coaching, specifically for people of faith, is Christian coaching, in which I use other tools to coach. But my NLP coaching focuses on helping people who have been hurt by dark NLP to sort of find their way to a healthier life. And believe me, I'm one to take my own advice as well as give it, you know. My point is, my point is, I'm not very smooth about what I do in person, but I do know well enough to help people find their way. I'm definitely not going to use NLP for unethical purposes. My goal is to help people who have been hurt in that way, not to take advantage of them. And I'm not going to try to make myself out to be some ultimate expert or ultimate guide, because a lot of people who have been hurt that way have been lured in by the promise of a guide who's polished and sleek and perfect in every way and, you know, has all the answers. That's not me. And who knows, maybe that'll never be me in this life. In fact, it probably won't. But those are the kind of people who can do good or they can do evil. And my goal is to help people who have been affected in that way negatively walk with them on this journey to find their way out. And I want to make that very clear. I want to help, not hurt. And I also want to make clear that we can, if anyone contacts me for this purpose, we can start with a short text or phone call session and go from there. I'm not going to charge anything, because I'm in this to help others, not to line my pockets. A lot of these people who do use NLP for unethical purposes, they are in it to get money. And that's not me. Instead, I'm in it to help people who have been affected. People like I've known throughout my entire life, who one way or another have been affected by the misuse and abuse of communication. And also want to make clear that if you're not satisfied with my work, you don't have to stick around. If you want me to refer you to somebody and I happen to know somebody who's better than me at this work, I surely will. If you just aren't satisfied, I will accept that and we can go our separate ways. And if you decide at a later time that you want to come back and talk to me again, that's fine too. In a sense, you could say my door is always open. Ultimately, I'm in this for you, whoever you may be out there. And I thank you for putting up with this rambling rant. And hopefully we'll see you. I'll see you at some point in the future. And that's it. See ya.